Hello everybody, my name is Karryshh and welcome back to another recap video. This time it's our latest Indonesian horror movie, Kereta Berdarah. This movie is filled with jump scares, demonic shits and a lot of gore. It's a fun adventure, but the storyline was not that complex. Well, we're gonna recap it, but first, if you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video. It'll help me out a lot. With that said, let's dive into the story of Kereta Berdarah. So the movie begins with construction of a railway line in the middle of some woods. A guy who seems to be familiar with this place comes to talk to the authorities and tells them to stop this work at once because these woods don't belong to humans. However, the man in charge kicks him out and the scene goes on a few workers. Everyone leaves but two guys remain for overtime pay. One of them was named Pie Man and he takes the cement inside a tunnel but he doesn't come back. The other worker then go to look for Pie Man but inside the tunnel the lights turns red and when the worker finds Pie Man he finds him with a demon on the ceiling. The demon melts Pie Man's skin and now the scene goes on Sangkara railway station. It was recently built and a new train is gonna go on its first journey today and that was why the owners of the railway line Mr. Bara and Santoso are gonna travel too. We then meet with Purnama and her little sister Kembang who are off on a vacation at Sangkara resort, but Purnama has some health issues and she just got free from hospitalization, which worries Kembang. Then we see a woman named Ramla who feels the pain of some protesters. Actually, you see, many workers went missing while the construction was on the way, and now their families are protesting against the railway line, but security handles them. The last character is Taekun, who's a steward on the train. This train only has 5 cars and Purnama and Kembang are traveling in economy in the 5th car. We also meet driver Siddiq, a photographer and a corrupted businessman who's on a runaway with buttloads of money. The journey begins and soon we find out about Ramla's truth. Actually, the guy who died in the picnic was Ramla's husband, who worked hard day and night to buy Ramla a heroin machine since she can hear well. But her husband is missing now and Ramla is on this train to look for him when suddenly Ramla now sees her husband in front of the washroom. She instantly goes to look for him, but he disappears, and Ramla goes inside the cafeteria to look for him, but no one has seen her husband there. Then Ramla spots Santoso in the first class and she tries to go talk with him about her husband, but the stewardess refuses her to do so. Meanwhile, Santoso and Mr. Bara are talking about their train's reputation and how the workers who went missing can ruin it. And that was why both men were trying to hush it all up. Back on the sisters, Kembang now sees a bird who crashed into the train's window, indicating the forthcoming disaster. Then Purnama goes to washroom and Kembang reads her personal journal, in which she has written about her and her sister's love. However, with this journal, we find out that Purnama have liver cancer and she just had a surgery for it. In the washroom, Purnama throws up blood, and it means something is wrong, but creepily enough, evil spirits were just behind her which she couldn't see. Then the train enters a tunnel, and some evil thing starts occurring in the 5th car. Siddiq notices in CCTV that the door of 5th car is violently sliding on its own. Luckily, Kembang leaves the 5th car to check on her sister, but as soon as she leaves, the lights flicker. A little girl sees another little girl behind the door, and that other girl starts playing peekaboo, but then suddenly she turns evil, scaring the little girl away. The girl screams and a really creepy demon appears in the 5th car and attacks on people. Now the train leaves the tunnel, but the 5th car gets detached and disappears. Now Kembang finds Purnama and she notices vomit in her hair. She knew something is wrong with her sister when suddenly Purnama notices the 5th missing car, which sends shivers down their spines. The two immediately go in the cafeteria and knock on the 1st class door, calling Taekun and telling him everything. Tekun goes to investigate and soon gets anxious after seeing it himself. The people in the fourth car starts panicking, but Tekun assures everyone that the fifth car just got left behind and will catch up with everyone else later at the resort. He tells the same thing to Purnama, Kembang and Ramla, who are in the cafeteria, before he goes to handle the situation. After this, Purnama goes to get something to drink when Kembang gets a call from Purnama's doctor, and she now finds the truth. Actually, her sister's cancer surgery was unsuccessful and she had a little time left to live. It means Purnama lied to Kembang on purpose so that she can live the last of her days happily on this vacation with her. Now when Purnama returns, Kembang comforts her for her lies, and this turns into an argument. Purnama straight up tells that she doesn't want to be hospitalized for the rest of her days, sick in bed, always wishing to die. She wants to live, and she will, but Kembang knows that her sister can beat cancer. So in the end, she made her promise that after this vacation, Purnama will go back to her treatments. Scene goes on Tekun, who checks the fuse box, only to discover weird moss and jelly-like substance inside of it everywhere, which makes no sense. Then he starts seeing evil apparitions in the window and soon finds himself surrounded by ghosts, which disappears when Siddiq arrives. Tekun tells Siddiq what's going on, but Siddiq tells Tekun to calm down and not tell Mr. Bara and Santoso anything about the situation because his captaincy depends on this. After a while, the phone service is gone from the train and Tekun assures everyone that everything is fine. But then, the train enters another tunnel. This time, the fourth car experiences paranormal. We see a guy with long hair who suddenly starts choking along with his friends. Other passengers tried to help him, but soon, most of the people in the fourth car started choking. A girl gets possessed by evil force and she declares the annihilation of this entire train because humans are greedy who can destroy homes of others just to make some bills, and now the demons will make him pay. The photographer was also in the car and he now starts taking picture of this evil happening when suddenly his camera captures that demon who was crawling upside down on the train's roof. The people in the train turns into zombie-like creatures and the demon from the roof attacks on the photographer and brutally murdered him and even ate his soul. However, Kembang sees all this from the cafeteria and she screams in terror just as the train leaves the tunnel and the fourth car disappears. Kembang experiences a panic attack and Purnama handles her, but she tells her sister everything, which was obviously unbelievable. Hearing the clamor, Mr. Bara and Santoso arrives in the cafeteria and finds out about the missing cars. This was very bad for their business and no one had any clue why and what is happening. But then, Ramla comes up with a conclusion. It was that the train misses a car every time it enters the tunnel, and it's happening because they are playing with something that's not human. Hearing Ramla, Mr. Bara laughs and calls her crazy, but Kembang supports Ramla's theory after what she saw, but they were unable to convince Mr. Bara, who assures everyone that the cars are just left behind and will be taken care of soon. Mr. Bara then goes back to his place, but he finds the weird moss and jelly on his seat, which he finds strange. He removes it and goes to talk to Siddiq, but Siddiq was unable to contact the lost cars already. Mr. Bara calls in a rescue operation, but Siddiq was scared, and then he made Mr. Bara watch a CCTV footage. The video has the demon captured in the fourth car, which was the evidence that something evil is happening. However, Mr. Bara made Siddiq delete the video to save his business, and now he believes in everything, but he still plans to continue on this journey. Meanwhile, Santoso takes Ramla, Purnama and Kembang to the first class, but Ramla stops Santoso and asks him about her husband. Sadly, Santoso had no clue who her husband was. Now in the first class, people frown on these economy class people, and on top of that, Purnama's hair was reeking of vomit. Purnama goes back with Tekun and soon, VIP people come to complain about the economy people being in the first class. Meanwhile, Purnama throws up blood again and the train enters another tunnel. Now a stewardess was scared of what was coming next, but Santoso didn't let her go in the first class cause her fear will make other people panic. The third car was attached to the cafeteria and soon a stewardess screams in cafeteria. Santoso and other stewardess goes to check on this but they were horrified to find everything trashed. Then the two saw a demon silhouette at the end of the cafeteria and seeing it, Santoso and the woman slowly turns around and goes back to the third car. Santoso tells the people there to slowly move into the second car when suddenly everyone's body gets jammed. It happened because everyone was then surrounded by dozens of demons. A woman lies down and tries crawling forward. Santoso tries moving forward along the edges, but suddenly a woman falls and all the demons look towards her. The woman gets hella scared and starts screaming, but one of the demons makes her commit unalivement. Her blood spills on other passengers, causing a stampede where the demons are taking the upper hand, and then the main demon comes back and grabs Santoso. It slammed Santoso in a door before it blasted his body, and Purnama sees all this from the other side. Purnama goes to get help, but the door was locked, and soon all the demons slaughtered everyone in the third car before it disappeared as the train leaves the tunnel. Now the next one is gonna be the second car, and people who knows about this starts making a fuss. Tekun tells Siddiq to stop the train before it enters another tunnel, but then comes Mr. Berdarah and he does something bad. Mr. Berdarah blames economy class passengers Kembang, Purnama and Ramla for everything. He says that these three are responsible for train's malfunction so they can rob the VIP passengers. Hearing this, the corrupted businessman gets a shock cause he had the most money. He then breaks a glass bottle and attacks on the economy people. Mr. Berdarah leaves everyone between this commotion and Ramla spots another tunnel. Ramla screams to stop the train, but that man cuts Purnama's hand and gets into a fight with Tekun. During fight, Purnama and Kembang helps Tekun, but in the end, Purnama stabs the man with the broken bottle accidentally. The man dies, and Purnama enters a shocking phase where she can believe what she just did. However, this turns other passengers against the economy people. Siddiq also leaves the commotion as other passengers tries to capture Kembang, Tekun and Ramla. But since Purnama is now killer, she picks up the bottle again and spaces the crowd away from her friends. Purnama takes everyone towards the first car. They break the glass window and enters the toilet space, but the entrance to the first car was locked by Mr. Berdarah. However, before Tekun could enter the toilet space, passenger from the second car caught him and they starts to beat the shit out of him and the train enters another tunnel. Now when Tekun was getting beaten, the demon appears in its mighty form in the second car, startling everyone. It screamed its lung out and its screams turns the scene into a carnage. Tekun instantly moves into the toilet space and that demon grabs and kills VIP passengers one by one. It makes people commit unalivement and then it eats their soul. Purnama, Kembang, Ramla and Tekun were then invited in the first car by Siddiq, but in the end, a girl was still alive and she was trying to make her way into the first car. Tekun tries to help her, but the demon catches the girl and throws her outside the train. The second car disappears, and now the final car remains. Kembang now calms her sister down, who just murdered a man. Meanwhile, others demanded for the train to stop, since now everyone knew what was going on. However, Mr. Berdarah takes the keys of the driver's cabin from Siddiq and goes there saying that he's gonna make the driver's assistant stop the train. But he doesn't do this. He goes there, locks the door and tells the assistant to speed up because he wanted to make it to the resort alive at any cost. Soon others find out that Mr. Berdarah has locked the cabin and obviously they needed to get through now. Tekun breaks the window, opens the door and they reach the outside of the driver's cabin. Now since Siddiq was in charge of that train, so it was not hard for him to make the assistant open the door for him, even when Mr. Berdarah told him not to do so. Siddiq then gives order to stop the train, but Mr. Berdarah clutches the handle and did not let the train stop. Siddiq and Takun then fights Mr. Barra, but in that hassle, the side door opens and Mr. Barra pushes Takun away and he dies instantly. It was then that the assistant pulled the emergency brakes and the train stops abruptly, barely avoiding a fatal accident. It stops in front of the last tunnel and then obviously Mr. Barra is locally arrested. Mr. Barra tells everyone that he just wanted to get to the resort so he can start rescue operations, but everyone hushes him up. The remaining passengers then plan to cross the woods on foot and go around the last tunnel because the resort is now nearby, and if they don't go inside the tunnel, the demons will not harm him, maybe. Now Ramla asks Mr. Barra about her husband, but sadly, he didn't know who he was since a lot of workers went missing during the construction. Then Siddiq comes forward and tells what happened before the construction was started. Back in the past, we see a meeting held by Mr. Barra where Siddiq was present too. Mr. Barra told the workers to chop down the forbidden place of the woods when that man from the beginning came and told them that it was not a good idea because that part of the woods is a home to a demon. In that place, even prayers don't work. But the man was thrown out by Mr. Barra and he didn't care for the demons at all. Mr. Barra destroyed the demon's home and now the demon is taking revenge. Now everyone leaves Mr. Barra alone in the train and they go out into the woods, but it was night now. They were just near the tunnel and they thought they were safe when suddenly some invisible forces starts pulling passengers in the bushes, and then everyone saw that the demon is coming out of the tunnels. It means the demons were hiding inside the tunnels during the day, but now at night, they will rule everywhere. Everyone now runs for their lives deep into the woods, and meanwhile, a woman appears near Mr. Barra, who counts the sins of Mr. Barra's life demonically. Mr. Barra asks for forgiveness, but the woman turns into the demon and sucks out Mr. Barra's soul. Now in the woods, we see Purnama, Kemban, Ramla and a woman together, and meanwhile Siddiq was running alone. Then suddenly, he crosses paths with demons. Siddiq closes his eyes and tries to escape, but it was no use, because the demon catches and obviously kills him. Soon after, the woman who was with Purnama and others disappears, and when Ramla notices this, she stops. She says that if her husband is in these woods somewhere, then he will come look for her. There, Ramla introduces herself for the first time to Purnama and Kempan, and then she bid her goodbye before leaving to find her husband. Now Purnama and Kemban tries to leave the woods on their own, but their luck was not on their side, because in the end they see demons and they hide behind a tree, where suddenly a demon attacks on him and Purnama lost consciousness. Now finally in the end, we see everyone, but now the demons are turning them into trees. The tracks are getting eaten by the forest and even Ramla turns into a tree. Then suddenly Purnama wakes up, who herself is turning into a tree, but she screams after she sees Kemban in front of her, also turning into a tree. Purnama tries to save Kemban, but it was useless. Kemban was scared and she knew that she will die, and she did. She turned into a tree in front of Purnama, but for some reason, Purnama didn't turn. In fact, the demon let her go. Purnama instantly tries to talk to her sister, but the efforts were futile. She became the only survivor, but the demon paid her a visit. Purnama tells the demon to take her instead of her sister, but the demon just laughs at her pain and disappears. Purnama couldn't figure out why she was not taken away, and now tunnels collapse and the train gets eaten by the ground. The scene goes 6 months later where we see Purnama with that guy who knows stuff. It was revealed that Purnama got to live because she was already dying from cancer, and she was not good for the forest soul and the demon. However, Purnama is now recovering from cancer and she pays a visit to Kemban. She tells her sister that she will live and beat the cancer soon, and hearing that, flowers appear on Kemban's tree, indicating that her sister is still alive somewhere and is looking after Purnama. And this is where the movie ends. So this was the recap video on the movie Kereta Berdarah, and I hope you have liked it. If you have, then please subscribe the channel and like this video. I really need your support to grow further. If you want to watch this movie, there's a link to my Telegram channel where I share movie links every now and then. So go subscribe there. I'm mostly active on Insta, so you can follow me there as well. And also look into my other channel where we discuss about the mysteries of the world. All the links are in the description box. For now, I'll see you all in the next one. Till then, stay awake, because they always see you.